about Marathon. So Marathon's making the headlines right now because there is a voice actor that goes by the name Ben Starr. Pretty good voice actor, by the way. I don't hate his work. I mean, his ideology is a totally different thing, but as long as he keeps that shit out, I don't care. But he's making the rounds right now. People are talking about it because he essentially said that Marathon, which we all know what's going on with Marathon, and we'll check how the game's performing in a little bit. But Marathon is going to be Game of the Year, which is a really big statement. All right. A really big statement to make. So he said it's going to be Game of the Year, but the reason why he said it is the reason why people are talking about it. He said it's going to be Game of the Year because it has Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, and Expeditions 33 award magnet Jennifer English. So he's trying to say that Marathon is going to win Game of the Year just because it has Jennifer English working on the game. Which, it's like, bro, are we really doing this right now? Like, are we seriously doing this right now? Keep in mind, Jennifer English also worked on Ex Voto, 1348 Ex Voto, right? It's like, we know you guys, they're literally like best friends. Maybe even more. Who knows? I don't really know these days. Well, no, she's a lesbian. She went on. Well, that doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is, she worked on other projects. Like, yes, I understand that, you're trying to make it seem as if like she's a big deal, and for all intents and purposes, she is. Like in terms of the voice acting industry. But to be fair, it's in my opinion, these voice actors, they all get shit around. Like it's literally, I feel like I'm seeing the same 5 voice actors being shared around all throughout the industry. Now, could he be joking? Sure, of course. Like, could he be like, trolling? Of course, sure. But people aren't taking it that way, to the point where you're getting articles being written about it as if this is supposed to be a crazy big thing. So let's talk about it and see exactly what he had to say about the situation. So if you scroll down, it says, if you think about the 3 games in recent years that have absolutely demolished the Game of the Year running in their given years, it's Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, and most recently, Expedition 33. All 3 of these games have something in common, and not just being fantasy RPGs. No, all 3 have a prominent role played by Jennifer English. Do you see what they're doing here? Do you guys notice like what they're trying to do here? So they're trying to tie the massive success of all 3 of these video games to basically one woman. What the fuck? Like literally basically one woman. They're trying to tie it all to Jennifer English, which is interesting. Mind you, she's just hired by these studios. These studios hire her to do some voice lines. She doesn't actually work for these studios. The one game that she actually worked on through and through, was part of, was 1348 Ex Voto, and that game flopped dramatically. So interesting how that goes, right? Yeah, I guess story and gameplay really didn't matter too much. I guess it was just the fact that it was Jennifer English involved. That's a big like, hey, thumbs up. That's great. But anyway, Jennifer English, who plays Latina the Albinauric in Elden Ring, Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate, and Mael in Clair Obscure. So naturally, fans have dubbed her power the Jennifer English effect, and now are looking for more games to see if her luck rubs off on it. That's interesting. So I don't know if these fans know, but they should perhaps look and see if her luck was actually rubbing off on it, because last I checked, when she's more involved in something that doesn't already have built-in clout from previous franchises that people already loved, it ends up like this. So, are we really are we seriously gonna be calling it the Jennifer English effect? Like, do you really like, are we forgetting? Okay, you know what? Fair, because maybe they are forgetting that this game exists, right? Because nobody's playing it. Just to be fair, right? So I can't sit here and be like, hey, did we forget about this game? Because they probably did. They probably did forget about this game because nobody showed up and played the game. But regardless, anyway, so I want to go back to this article because this thing is just it's pretty mind blowing how they will just nitpick and cherry pick information to try to make it seem like it's all about that. Like it's all her. She's just throwing this all together. Anyway, at Emerald City Comic Con of 2026, Popverse interviewed some of the cast of Expedition 33, with English joined by Verso actor Ben Starr and Aliona Baranova, who played multiple characters in the game, as well as motion capture on Baldur's Gate 3. During the panel, host Ashley Robinson explained, "Are you familiar that Reddit has dubbed the Jennifer English effect, a game that creeps up and becomes deeply popular following the release of Claire Obscure?" It says, English, seemingly unfamiliar with her Lucky Charm status, responded, "That's really nice. What?" Star, on the other hand, started looking towards this year, saying that means Marathon is going to be Game of the Year. The panel took place during the weekend Marathon first debuted in, and while it's not quite lighting the world on fire the same way Expedition 33 did, the Bungie sickos seem to like it. Do they? How is the game? I haven't checked the game in a long time because I don't give a fuck about this game. But do they? Like, has it been doing okay? I mean, we are in the weekend, right? So the numbers should have gone up a little bit. Let's see. All right, yeah, the number went up a little bit, about 4,000 on the weekend. So that's good. That's good on a Friday. It's got a 24-hour peak of 36,374. With a previous all-time peak 29 days ago, about less than 1 month, of 88,000. So they kept about 1/3 of their player base, give or take. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hopefully these people are all buying those $20 color swap skins and justifying it and saying the game is peak while they do it. But no, in all seriousness, to claim, listen, it's not often that a shooter wins Game of the Year. Okay, let's be real. Just from a statistical standpoint, it's very unlikely that a shooter is going to win Game of the Year. I think the last time that happened was with Overwatch, right? So I don't think that this game is going to win Game of the Year, even though, like, and I know there are some reasons to think it will, because again, the journalists, they're the ones that vote, right? The gaming media, they're the ones they're voting. They vote in the Game Awards, right? They account for 90% of the vote, a mass majority of the vote. So if they want a game to win, the game's going to win, flat out. Okay. Now I know the journals love this game, and they gave Bungie all the grace that, by the way, they gave nobody else. They decided to give Bungie all the grace. They're like, "Oh, what was that, Bungie? You want another couple of weeks before I drop my review so that I can have you release your end game content and then review your game for you? Sure, I could do that, Bungie. Just send over that swag bag. Send over that little swag. You know what? Just give me a little statue. I'll take a little statue. I like my little statue." Like they gave him all the grace in the world. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a plot twist and they're like, "Hey, Marathon wins Game of the Year." Shocker, But I mean, considering the games that we've gotten so far this year and the games that we know are supposedly coming out this year, I just don't see how Marathon stands a fucking chance. I just don't. Like, what happens if Grand Theft Auto 6 actually releases this year? Do you think Marathon's going to fucking beat Grand Theft Auto 6? Do you really think that's going to happen? I don't think it's going to happen at all. Of course not. Even Crimson Desert. Although, to be fair, I think Marathon would beat Crimson Desert because of the simple fact is, look at how they like these games. They like Marathon, supposedly, and they hate Crimson Desert. So, I don't know. But in terms of GTA 6, if that game comes out, nothing else is winning Game of the Year. Every single journalist is going to vote for GTA 6 because they feel like they have to. Not because they want to, but because they have to. They got to make. You think they want to screw over access to Rockstar and Take-Two? You think they want to lose that? Of course not. They're not going to lose that. So, in any case, I think it's kind of funny, and again, I know he was probably joking or whatever, and that's fine. But, there are so many games, indie games that have come out that are absolute bangers this year. Mugenics is one of them, right? Mugenics has done some insane fucking numbers when this game came out. 115,000 all-time concurrent 2 months ago. Fantastic. Still a ton of people playing this game. 24,000 for an indie-style video game. Slay the Spire 2. Shit. I mean, just look at this. 574,000. And you know what's sad, man? These games are going to be, for the most part, not ignored, but like wholly, how do I say it? Like they're not going to be ignored, but they're going to be shunned, right? In the sense of like they'll be referenced, they'll be mentioned, but they're not actually going to win anything major because they usually don't want to allow that to happen, right? So they're going to absolutely be shunned, but they will be mentioned because you can't ignore something this big. You can't ignore Slay the Spire hitting 574,000 concurrent players. You can't ignore that. That's just not fucking possible. That is not happening, right? No matter how much you may want to. Just like in the last show, they couldn't ignore Schedule 1, right? They couldn't ignore Hollow Knight Silksong. They had to acknowledge those games. They had to. Even if they didn't want to, they had to, right? Once you get to that level of size, you have to acknowledge those. You have to acknowledge those games. You have to say something. Did they even mention Schedule 1 last year? They did. Jeff Keighley ended up mentioning like indie successes where he had it on the screen, and he mentioned Schedule 1. He mentioned Hollow Knight Silksong. He mentioned Peak. I think he mentioned Peak. And he also mentioned Are We There Yet? I think, or something like that. Didn't they ignore Hogwarts Legacy? Well, see, here's the thing, Sanguine. So there's ignoring something that did financially well, which is not something that they can really do. And then there's ignoring something that is trans violence. And they can't do that. They cannot ignore something that's they can't ignore something that's trans violence. They have to ignore it. They have to shun it. It's like the moment something even remotely insults the trans overlords, it is game over, bro. It is not even going to be looked at, let alone mentioned. It's not happening. But a game like this that does amazing numbers, that completely destroys all the AAA games that have released alongside it, yeah, they'll mention it, but they're not going to do anything special outside of that. It might win maybe an indie award or so, but that's basically it. It's not gonna go too crazy. So unless it's universally loved by the journos, like Expedition 33 was, and then that's something different. So, but anyway, that's basically the Marathon story. I mean, again, we can agree, disagree, whatever. Obviously, I don't think Marathon is going to win Game of the Year, nor should it. I mean, even the people who are enjoying that game, if you really think Marathon's going to win Game of the Year, brother, you might want to look yourself in the mirror because you got Bungie shill all over you, bro. There's nothing wrong with saying the game is good, but there's a whole other thing to say that it's going to win Game of the Year guaranteed, bro. It's not happening. I highly doubt it. Anyway, that's basically it.